What's up guys, my name is ESO and welcome back to the channel where we discover the darkest secrets of Skyrim. In today's video I have a list of 5 unmarked locations that will probably upset you a little bit. And if I'm honest, they get worse as we go on. So grab yourself a cup of tea, sit back and relax and enjoy. Maybe get a box of tissues too. So first up we have number 5. The first unmarked location can be found here on the map, northeast from Markath. And just northwest from the Shrine of Periite. Obviously it's an unmarked location, so it's just about where my cursor is. I can't actually physically show you where it is any closer than this. But once you're here you will discover a small spring. And you'll quickly find a half-naked lady bent over a blood-splattered rock. And we can shed a little bit more light on what actually happened here if we take a quick look around. You'll find her clothes along with a ring and an amulet, and also her journal. Now pay attention to her clothes because they're laid out so neatly here that it implies that she was probably just going for a swim. But now let's read her journal. Father wouldn't like it if he caught me swimming out here again, but I just can't help myself. Forsworn sightings be damned. I love the way the cool water feels on my skin. Besides, with the war raging, those savages won't dare leave the safety of their tents. So I think I'll head down to my special spot one more time. And it clearly looks like this was the last time too. Because if we take a closer look in the water guys, we will see 2 Forsworn arrows just bobbing up and down there. So clearly she was killed from behind while just chilling out and relaxing in the water. What's odd though is that the Forsworn that killed her didn't bother taking her expensive ring or her amulet. They're still sitting here on the bank. So feel free to take them for yourself because it's pretty easy gold at a low level. Especially the amulet, which is always going to be worth a lot of gold even at level 1. But it is a bit strange that the Forsworn literally killed her just because she was there. Like they just wanted to kill her for literally no real reason. Almost just a terror attack really, to make a point. As I looked up from the book, I noticed a Forsworn over the crest of the hill. Now this is actually a random encounter. Sometimes this happens when you're in this location and sometimes it doesn't. And what's odd about this is that if you go up to these 2 Forsworn, they won't even attack you.
I'm warning you, back off.
They'll just tell you to back off and be careful. Empty threats really. They're not actually hostile towards you though. It's assumed that these 2 Forsworn were indeed the 2 that killed this bonny lass. Hence the 2 Forsworn arrows next to her corpse. There's only one thing to do here.
That's close enough. What do you need? I'm warning you, back off.
Get wrecked! That was so unnecessarily excessive, but hey, cruelty cannot go unpunished. Justice must be done. He really didn't stand a chance, did he? As for the lady's father who was a merchant, there is never any reference or dialogue if you find the daughter's body. Next up on the list, in the 4th position, we have a rather sorry but also heartwarming story of 2 friends. You can find this location east from Winterhold. It's just here on the map between these 2 sort of canyon things. If you venture through the snowdrift to the south and then come back north, you will discover these 2 skeletons. Now this unmarked story is a pretty easy one to miss if you're just walking by. But if we look closely, you can see that one of the skeletons must have got his leg stuck in a bear trap. And it must have hurt. I mean, I'm no doctor, but it looks like this bear trap decimated this man's leg. Look at the bones, they're just like all smashed up. Like he just got wrecked, man. He got wrecked by that bear trap. Like he wasn't going anywhere. The heartwarming part of the story, however, is the fact that his friend didn't want to leave him. His friend sat with him while he was stuck in that bear trap until the very end. Friend literally died from the cold himself. And if you take a look in this guy's satchel, he's even got some alchemy ingredients, maybe to like help ease his friend's pain. And now it gets interesting because he also has an alchemy skill book titled Manimarco, King of Worms. And this kind of suggests to us that these two people were necromancers. It also explains why the friend didn't go back to the local town of Winterhold trying to find somebody to go and help them out. Because let's be honest, nobody's going to help a necromancer. But man, I never thought I'd feel sorry for a necromancer, but I kind of do. Now I am pretty much certain that they were necromancers, because there's actually a worm cult very close by, and I've already made a video on that location if you're interested. I'll link it down below in the description of this video if you want to check it out. Now the sad tale of this story, despite how touching it is that they both died a very horrible death from either blood loss or just from the cold. Oh my god, this video is getting so depressing. But now we're on number 3 on our list, on our countdown to number 1. So this time we're just going to come here on the map, along the coastline to Dawnstar. And if you head south and then east back along the coast, you'll eventually come across the Shoreline Camp. And once again, this is unmarked on your map. And as you can see, there's a medium-sized animal skin tent with this lovely sort of built-up fire in front of it, so you can sit there and just watch the tide go in and out, and maybe watch the sunset as well. There's a few empty wine bottles and also some scattered red mountain flowers. Apparently this was quite the romantic occasion for whoever this couple were. And of course you've got the dead giveaway, the Amulet of Mara, which kind of tells us what was probably going on here. So those among you who also have pretty keen eyesight will have also noticed that there are 2 pairs of shoes here, and unless you're crazy, you don't leave your tent in the north of Skyrim without your shoes. And as the 2 lovers are no longer here inside the tent and they left their shoes behind, what probably happened is that they were either killed by a hawker or took a dip in the icy cold sea of ghosts, which to be honest could have happened because they might have been pretty drunk. Either way, I don't think they're chilling out in Somerset Isles right now. And now for our next untold story on the list. And this one is going to be rather interesting because it actually gives us an insight into the lore of the giants. So this unmarked location can be found just here on the map, northwest from Mistwatch Keep. And to be honest guys, once you get here, it's pretty hard to miss the giant standing over the hot springs. As you can see, he's staring downwards at his dead mammoth, and he's clearly mourning this mammoth. And if this isn't sad enough, rather interestingly, I noticed that if you walk around this area, you will in fact see a lot of mammoth skulls. I mean, they're just dotted all over this area, all around the hot springs and stuff. There are so many that it makes me think that this is in fact a mammoth graveyard where giants come to bury their mammoths and mourn them. Now, you'd be forgiven for thinking that you need to keep your distance from this giant. In fact, that's probably the first lesson most of us learn very early on. But no, this giant is different. This is pretty much the only friendly giant in Skyrim, or at least one of them. You can go right up to him and literally just mourn the loss of his mammoth with him if you want. He just stands there and stares down at you with his glazed over eyes, like he's trapped in a glass box of emotion. If you attack him, he will attack you back. But I mean, why would you do that? Why would you disturb this peace and tranquility? And guys, if you're wondering, mammoths are actually usually tended by the giants, and they process them for their milk to create cheese, which is a very important part of the giant's diet. That and skeever and other wild animals that they catch for their meat. But we know from experience that they are very protective over their mammoth herds. And as you can see guys, they clearly consider them companions. So when a mammoth dies, it's a big thing. And now we come to our last sad tale on today's list, which also has some hidden treasure. And if you guys are enjoying this video and you want to see more like it, remember to hit that subscribe button, and then if you press the little bell icon next to it, you can actually get notified whenever I release a new Skyrim video. It also tells you if I'm streaming, because a lot of people seem to miss me streaming and they're like, ESO, I've missed you, and I'm like, press that bloody bell icon and then YouTube tells you that I'm streaming. Help yourself. But anyway, this next location can be found here on the map, north from the old Herolden Inn. Just here. And if I just show you a pan cam on how to get there, it's basically this campsite in the distance here. And when you do arrive at this location, it is a rather disturbing scene. The offending creature is actually still close by, so let's take him out right now. What the creature actually is depends on what level you are. At a low level, it will just be a wolf, or a cave bear, or even a saber cat if you're a very high level. You don't actually need to be a detective to figure out what's happened at this location specifically. There are two people, a dark elf and a lovely lady, clearly a couple, that were cooking a lovely meal when they attracted the unwanted attention of the local wildlife, and quite literally became the meal, butchered alive. The story becomes sadder still though, because once you discover Karan's journal, which is just over here on the rock next to this lady. Let's take a look. 8th of Frostfall. Oh Talver, dear sweet Talver. I can't stop thinking about him. Since the first moment I laid eyes on him in the marketplace, my heart was lost. But father would never allow me to marry some commoner, much less a poor Dunmer miner. Mara, what to do? 11th of Sundawn. Another letter from Talvar. The third this week. He's a bit keen, quite a needy dark elf. He says he cannot live without me, that he'd rather die than lose me to another. Oh, I feel the same way. Wipes tear from eye. I can't abide by this any longer. Father is sure to find out eventually. The maids are all aflutter over my secret love. Something will slip. Talvar and I must be long gone by then, or father will have all the Reach up in arms against him. How powerful is her dad, Jesus. 22nd of First Seed. I've convinced my father to take me on his next trip out east. When we reach the inn at Old Herolden, I'll slip out at night and I'll meet Talvar in the hills above Soljund. Soljund is actually the local mine in this area, and the Dunmer is obviously a miner, so I'm guessing that's where he mines. Talvar says he's been saving his wages for the last few months, stowing them away in an old stump up there. With that, we should be able to buy passage to Riften, and our freedom. Oh love, I cannot wait another hour. And there you have it, a love story. The girl, the daughter of a wealthy merchant who fell in love with a poor miner. It's all the more sad because they had plans to flee to Riften and live happily ever after, but that just wasn't to be. But of course, now you have taken the time to read this journal, or listen to me read it, you now know the location of the secret money stash, which is just over here, behind this log. This hollow log here. Look inside there. Boom! Look at all that gold. There's actually a dwarven sword, a soul gem, and also a satchel full of lots of lovely loot. I'm not 100% sure if the loot inside the satchel is actually leveled or not, but either way it's going to give you some gold, and it does respawn as well, so you can just come back here. And rather interestingly guys, if you actually leave the location and do come back at a later date, all the bodies will have been cleaned up and a shrine of Mara will actually be left in memory of the two lovers. Perhaps the shrine was actually left there by the wealthy merchant, or at least that's probably the most likely story. If you guys want to see more sad stories, make sure you check out the description below where I have actually linked another 4 very sad location stories. And of course guys, if you want to see more top 5 Skyrim videos, make sure you subscribe and follow me on Twitter to keep up to date with the latest guides as soon as they come out. Thank you very much for watching me ESO, and I will see you, loyal subscriber, in the next video guide. Have a fantastic day and goodbye.